Hi, my name is Jimmy Williams with NFL Draft Diamonds. And here with me today, I have a stud running back I'd like you guys to meet. His name is Jalen White. He's a running back out of Georgia Southern. Nice to have you today, sir.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you having me, man. I'm honored, blessed.
Hey, nice to have you on. Obviously, had a very strong career at Georgia Southern, has done very well as you're preparing for this draft, and a running back who I feel is going to be, somewhere in the pros here very soon. So, Jalen, go ahead and introduce yourself so we can get going.
Yes, sir. What's going on, man? I'm Jalen White. I'm from Georgia Southern. I grew up in Alabama, and I'm just extremely thankful to be on an interview with you today, man. And let's do it.
Cool. Got in my notes from Daleville, Alabama. I'm not exactly sure where that's at. My
Yeah.
geography there is a bit lost, but I kind of want to walk through your earlier days, and then, of course, talk through your Georgia Southern days. So, how long have you played football?
Yeah, so I started playing football around the age of 3 to 4, flag football. So, my parents were military, and so we moved around a lot. And so I first started playing football when I was living in Louisiana, and I started with flag football. And then when I turned 7, that's my first year tackle. And then shortly after that, I think like 2010, we moved to Georgia. And that's when I started really getting to like the rec leagues and the pee wees and like really starting to know that this is what I'm good at and this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. And so, the rest of it was history. I was going through like middle school and high school, and, and going through Georgia Southern. But that's really how I got started.
Cool. So with your answer, seemingly you've been playing football since you come out the womb.
Yeah,
And
basically.
so
Yeah.
do want to lead us to Daleville High School there in Alabama, along with some football, did a couple other sports. Talk to me about you as a high school athlete and maybe one of your fondest memories.
Uh, as a high school athlete, it was fun. You get that high school experience, and it was a small town. So, when it came to football season, it was a lot of love because everybody showed out. Had a enthusiastic band, the players that, you just Friday night lights, you just enjoy it. But if I had to say my fondest memory, it'll probably come from my junior year. It was always a team that had a little amount of numbers, amount of players on the team, and so we ended up making the playoffs at the fourth seed. We had to go to Reeltown High School, and it was the number one seed. And we ended up coming out on top with that victory. And it was just it was one of those games where you just had to fight. It was muddy, it was cold, rainy, but and we're the underdog. Nobody expected us to even be in a position, let alone win that game. And just the fact that we was able to take that bus ride home and enjoy that victory, yeah, it's one of my fondest memories.
Awesome. And again, as I had mentioned, did a little bit of basketball, a little bit of track and field, but of course, ended up sticking with the game of football, the game that you've really grown up playing, loving. What is it about football that you love the most?
What I love the most is really probably the camaraderie that you make with your brothers and everything, like the brotherhood of it all. Because you go through the workouts, the cold mornings in the winters, the spring ball, summer, just lifting with your guys, just having that brotherhood every day. That's probably my favorite part because, like, I'm a grad now, and I ain't with my guys no more. And the difference you see it every day. Like, it's just not the same. So that's probably the biggest thing. Like aside from hearing the fans and scoring touchdowns, just being able to be out there, hit, run the ball, do what you do. That's probably what I enjoyed the most.
Cool. So, coming out of Daleville, Alabama, of course, you ended up landing at Georgia Southern. Talk through the recruiting for you and how you ended up landing there, and maybe really what sold you on that opportunity.
Yeah, so going throughout the high school recruiting process, I wouldn't say I was like a highly recruited kid, but I had a good amount of offers, and I talked to the big schools like Florida, Tennessee, but it just never threw out the offers. I mean, I talked to Tulane, and I'm really just saying the team that it came down to in the very end, who I was like really talking to the most, like in that last month. But Georgia Southern, they ended up offering me. They brought me on a visit, and just the love that I was shown when I was on my visit, and just talking to the guys that were already there, I knew that was the program for me. And so like after leaving, I was okay, and I was comfortable with the decision I was gonna make. That I was gonna be an Eagle for the next 4 years.
Cool. Give me the scoop of what it means to be a student there at Georgia Southern. Like, if you had to sell the place to like an incoming freshman or something, like how would you talk up the campus and the classes there?
Yeah. Yeah, George Sutton's a great university, man. You know, just the campus alone, it's a beautiful campus. You would think that's built in the middle like of a forest. Like everything about it is just a lot of trees. There's lakes. There's ponds, a lot of wildlife, and it's easy on the eyes, and then the people there is just very enjoyable. Like there's always going to be parties. There's going to be the college life. You're going to have a great experience there. And then as an athlete, I mean, George Southern, we built something special there. And they just had their spring game the other day, and I mean, them boys mean business, and like the culture there is just it's undeniable. Like just tough, disciplined, and united, and that's what those three words we all live by. And you just see that every day that the guys are buying into the process.
Yeah, certainly very competitive. I mean, you guys ended up going 8-5 this past year, and overall, I mean, you've been in a lot of great games. I mean, you guys have been able to compete with some of the best. So, um, let's go ahead and talk more about you as a prospect. Obviously, man, running back had over 3,000 career rushing yards there for Georgia Southern. Um, Talk up that offense there and how they've been able to utilize you throughout the years.
Yeah, so when I got there, we was a triple option still, and I've never been a guy who like really complained on what type of offense we was running or anything. So I just try to make the most of the opportunities that we got. But I will say, like after when we started transitioning to a more air raid offense, I feel like as a prospect that helped my game the most. Like I was able to start catching balls out the backfield. I was able to understand defenses and understand blitz packages and how I could tell who's blitzing based off of rotations and where the numbers are and where the bodies are and everything. And on top of that, because we were such an air raid offense, sometimes we was able to benefit from a lot of box and everything. And so I feel like the offense I was in the last 3 years really helped me grow overall as a running back. And I think a lot of scouts will be able to see that.
Yeah, and Jalen, when I have seen you play, the things that really stick out is uh, just a guy who's very tough. I mean, guy who's very tough to bring down. I mean,
Absolutely.
does a good job of avoiding tackles, good short area, quickness, change of direction, good balance, and a guy who is not afraid to run you over if you're in the way.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah, that's
um,
me, man. That's me.
anything more that you would add to that? Maybe what you believe are some of your best attributes as a prospect in this draft.
Yeah, you hit it right on the nail, man. That's exactly who I am, man. That's what I strive to be every day. Just that guy that you can hand that rock to, and he gonna go get the job done. No matter if it's one guy in front of me or six guys in front of me, I'm gonna get the job done. And so I just feel like I'm a very determined runner, and I'm very decisive, and I got a knack for moving the chains.
Yeah, and they have used you as such
Yes,
during
sir.
your time there. So, um, talk up some of the people around you. I mean, obviously, you can't do it all by yourself, of course. I mean, you got to have somebody hand you the ball, and you have to have all these great blockers in front of you.
Mhm.
So, talk up some of the other pieces of that offense.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a unit, man, and it starts with the O line up front because I'm in the halls and they don't get a lot of recognition, especially the recognition that they deserve. But I mean, they're in the trenches, and our coach always says big men win championships, and that's the truth. Like I mean, we couldn't do nothing without them boys, especially as a running back. We wouldn't move the ball if we ain't had no movement up front. Then, of course, to have a quarterback who can understand the offense and understand everybody's responsibility. I was blessed to play with very good and special talent at the quarterback position, whether it was Kyle Van Treese, Davis Brin, or J.C. French. But just to have those guys back there and being the general of the offense, I mean, it makes everybody's job a lot easier. And then when you look on the perimeter, man, receivers, a lot of receivers they're classified as divas and don't want to do the dirty work. But I know playing with my guys at Georgia Southern, man, them boys wasn't afraid to work. They weren't afraid to block, see their nose in there. They made sure they got the job done. Like nobody on the team ever really played for themselves. We was always playing for each other.
Great. What's the one play call you love hearing the most as a running back? I mean, where you know the ball's coming your way.
It was probably anything that was power based or a counter. I mean honestly any type of run could I feel like confident in my skill. I can run any type of scheme, any type of run, anything you need, I could do it for you. But when it comes to power or a counter, it was really my play that I got excited the most about.
Awesome. Let's walk through some of these moments from this past year. A lot of great moments. So, see if we can get through them all. First, I want to talk about. Let's see here. I don't know which one came first, the Georgia State game or the JMU game, because I kind of want to talk about
Uh,
both
Georgia
of them.
State. Georgia State came first.
So Georgia State, obviously, close town, close rival, of course.
Yes, sir.
Um, did a very good job against them. Had 114 yards, couple touchdowns there against them. Any memories from that game that you can share?
Yeah, so that was the first game where we started doing this deal between Georgia State and Georgia Southern where like the winner gets the Commissioner's Cup. And I thought that was pretty cool, like another another side of the rivalry to bring to the rivalry and everything. But yeah, that game was really fun because I feel like that was the first game of the season that our run game was really strong. And my partner OJ and the old line we was really moving that game and everything was just running like a well-oiled machine and the fact that it was Georgia State, just to be able to get the victory over them, and I think that was the first game of conference, I believe, and just to like start off conference play like that, felt really good.
Cool. And walk through at least one of those touchdowns, if you don't mind. Anyone that
Uh,
strikes you as the most memorable.
so I had two that game, I believe, and it was probably the first one I had that game, and it was because I believe it was a power to the left, and it was just one of those grinding runs. We was just running through tackles, just keeping our feet and finding a way to get into the end zone, and seeing how everybody was getting their jobs done at O line up front, and just seeing guys blocking on the perimeter to help me get into the end zone. I mean, that was the definition of team football, and yeah, that's probably my more memorable touchdown of that game.
Cool. Let's jump next to the JMU game. Homecoming, of course. Uh,
Right.
maybe perhaps even being an underdog. I don't know how you people score that game if they, how they looked at it from the outside looking in, but
Yeah.
certainly one that you were able to do very well in. You had a very long run in that game of
Yes, sir.
49 yards. Talk me through that moment.
Yeah, so yeah, that was a very fun game too because I believe we were underdogs against them at that point. Because I think I'm not sure what maybe they were undefeated. They were just coming off that victory against North Carolina. I think not too long ago by that point. But yeah, that was a really fun game. I felt like that game I ran very patient and you know we ran the ball really well against the boys. The O line did a great job and like um just the fact that the way we handled business that game and the defense was the huge part of that game. I'm trying to remember it, but the defense was a huge part of that game. Like I think their quarterback got sacked 6 times and like it's hard to win a game 6 times, especially in somebody else's house. So that was a really fun game, and just to talk about myself in that game, that game was fresh off of turf toe, and it was really painful, but I feel like I toughened it out, and I was able to get the job done for my teammates. We just had to find a way to pull through.
Yeah, I mean, obviously exhibiting a great toughness there. And last game that I kind of want to talk about was senior night.
Yes,
Uh,
sir.
senior senior night, you guys end up going up against App State. Very strong performance, 125 yards on the ground, 3 touchdowns you had in
Yes,
that.
sir.
So
Yeah, that
talk through
uh,
it.
that was a really exciting game and very memorable because like one, it was the last game that I know I was gonna ever play in Paulson, and you know, it was just fitting. Last game in Paulson, we busted out the all blue uniform, and it was against our rivals. So you couldn't ask for nothing better. And just my favorite moments of that game came in the last 2 to 3 minutes. Because all year, our old line and our running backs, we will always say like, man, let us running backs eat, man. We got y'all boys. We could do it. And the last 2 3 minutes of the game, we didn't. That's all we did. We just ran the ball down their throat, and they couldn't stop us. And just get the job done for our team, and it meant a lot to us. And then like the stakes that I was riding on that game, we knew that we had to win that game and the game before to even have a chance to go to the championship. And like, unfortunately, Marshall ended up beating JMU that night, and so they ended up going to the championship. Props to them. But just to know that we did everything that we could. We knew the stakes, and we handled our business. I mean, this is a night I won't ever forget.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of great memories from your career. Put together a very solid career. Again, over 3,000 career rushing yards. Got nothing to hang your head about, man. I mean, you can certainly walk with your head held high, saying that you've done your best. Um, obviously, also had a great opportunity to go out to the Tropical Bowl and also
Yes, sir.
showcase your skills. So, talk about your experience there, like anything from that week, that game that you can talk through.
Yeah, so yeah, that experience was really well. I felt like it was really good for me. Mainly the practices because I felt like I did really well in like one-on-ones, running routes against the linebackers. I remember catching a few angle routes, a few deep balls, and just catch some balls in 7-on-7. Showing that aspect of my game, and then of course, having some breaks throughout the team run periods, and just being able to showcase my abilities and everything. And overall, I feel like I was able to talk after talking to 17 of the teams. I had a lot of good conversations, and everything went pretty smooth. I felt positive walking away from it as I went back to training, and so yeah, I couldn't say anything bad about Tropical Bowl. It was a good experience for me. I feel like it was beneficial.
Cool. And so you had mentioned 17 teams you talked
Yes,
to
sir.
while you're at the Tropical Bowl. So half of the league there. And I'm sure likely the other half at your pro day. Pro day was fairly solid, a decent performance there,
Yes, sir.
running somewhere in the 4.5s. I know, what is it, 1.56, 10-yard split,
Yes, sir.
36-inch vertical, 10-2 broad. And pounding out 20 reps of 225.
Yes,
So
sir.
talk about that pro day and really what you felt you did out there. I mean, how well you did.
Yeah, so I felt pretty good about pro day overall, and starting off the day with a 36-inch vert and being able to get the 20 reps while we was inside. I felt pretty good about it. I was really shooting for about 23, 24 on the bench. Try to lead our running backs, but I couldn't pull it out. But yeah, once we got on the field, I felt good about the broad jump. I felt really explosive. I felt good that morning. I just felt refreshed and everything. And then even about 40, yeah, I wish I could have touched the 4.4s, but I think I ran really well, especially given the conditions. It was 50s, rainy, windy. Running through. It's not an indoor, and I feel like with those conditions, I did pretty good. Especially given the fact, after when I was training there, training for my pro day laser, I touched the 4.51, and hand time I touched the 4.46 in terms. So I know I'm a fast guy, and I know I can bring that to a team. So and I've ran in front of them, so I feel like they've seen it too, and so they know I'm explosive. The 10-yard split, I think that accounts for that. And
Well, if we look at you and we take some of these numbers and we put them amongst the people that were at the combine,
yeah,
you're in the mix, man. You're in the mix with a lot of good running backs. So I
yes,
mean,
sir.
nothing. Again, we are looking at a running back that, bro. I don't know. I mean, maybe he could sneak into the draft, but certainly a guy who's going to get an
Absolutely.
opportunity here in the pros. So, has it sunk into you yet that you're an NFL prospect that you're going to get this opportunity here very soon?
It's crazy you say that because there's a lot of times where I catch myself like just like off in space, just thinking about like, dang, like to think that I even have this opportunity to say like, there's a chance that I can be on somebody's team and earn myself a spot and just have that opportunity. I mean, it's a blessing because it's been a long process. Everybody just thinks about college, but no, this it goes back. It goes back to when you was a little kid and you just where you even found out that you had the dream playing in the NFL, and the fact that you like at the doorstep, almost seeing like almost getting your foot in the door. It's like it's surreal, honestly, and I'm just extremely blessed to be in this opportunity.
So who'd you grow up, I guess, idolizing, as a kid? I mean, growing up in Alabama, I'm thinking maybe Derrick Henry or something. Like,
Yeah,
who was your guy?
yeah, so I watched a lot of running backs. So like, remember how I said my parents were military? So my parents they like grew up in New Orleans, and so we were Saints fans growing up. And so my first running back that I ever seen like coming up in that time was Reggie Bush, and just seeing that 25, and that's part of the reason I wore 25 in college because Reggie Bush was just that guy, and like just seeing him, and then like eventually I got to see his USC highlights. And I was like, dang, bro. Okay, I'm glad I picked running back. This is a guy that I love to idolize. And, as you grow up, you just start to see more and more running backs. So, of course, you said like Derrick Henry. When Alabama was going on their crazy run, they had a history of having great backs. You had Mark Ingram, you had Derrick Henry, Bo Scarborough. A lot of the guys that came through there. And then, as you got Saquon, who just had a phenomenal year. I watched him since he was at Penn State in college, and Ezekiel Elliott in 2014. It's like a lot of guys that I just continue to watch. And, even Le'Veon Bell when he was with the Steelers back in the day. It's like I never had one guy that I idolized. I try to take a piece of everybody's game and try to put it into my own and then become the best player that I can be.
Well, you rattled off a whole lot of great names. I really do miss the Reggie Bush days there at US. Bro is unstoppable.
Really, it was
Kind of
crazy.
watching him, so it was kind of nice. Jalen, do you want to take a brief moment to meet you outside of football a little bit? Anything that you want to share about yourself? whether it be your hobbies, your talents, if you got any fun facts you want to share about yourself, or if you have any, oh, I don't know, any special hidden talents that maybe not everybody knows. So talk a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so off the field, man, I just like to chill. Lately I've been doing a lot of drawing. So like my kid, she likes to draw a lot. She's really artistic, and I like to draw a lot when I was growing up too. And so after school every day, she likes to like, can we draw? We just pull up something on the screen. We try to draw to the best of our abilities, or we'll just free draw. Doodle. Just enjoy the moments and just find things to do in our free time. And I like to play Fortnite. Um, you know find ways to just add things to my, arsenal of skills. I mean, I started a little while ago. I started mounting TVs for my teammates when I was back in college, and I was able to go around in the city and just put up TVs for people who needed it. And then like, especially around moving day or when we got back from Christmas, like the holidays. What I mean? I feel like that was a good skill to get on my belt. Fixed a few cabinets. Just things like that. Being handy manny. Just trying to, sharpen up your skills and everything.
Funny there that you said handy mandy. It's kind of a little bit of a slip of the tongue because, like, I know it's a kid's show.
Yeah.
You'd mentioned again you're a dad, so I mean I got to tease a little bit on that front, but
Yes, sir.
give me a sense, man. I know sometimes being a dad, you're sitting at home maybe watching cartoons with your kid.
Yeah.
What were you watching as a little kid growing up, and how would you
So
compare that to what you maybe watch with your kid right now?
Yeah, so it's kind of weird. So I'm really trying to put it on like some of the stuff that I was watching when I was growing up. So like the Adventure Times or the Amazing World of Gumball, Chowders, all them stuff like that. Because these kids nowadays, man, they be in some interesting stuff. Like, because we're in the day and age where like there's a bunch of streamers, and so like you can walk in, it's Sonic on there, but it's not regular Sonic, and it's like it's different. I'll tell you that much. So I be trying to get on to like what I've been watching when I was growing up, cause like trying to watch what she watches, like, dang, this is it's kind of it's kind of odd, but it's fun at the same time just to find out the interest that they got and the things that keeps them glued to the TV. It's like it just changes through the generation and everything, but trying to find common ground. Try to put on to some of the stuff that I grew up watching.
Gotcha. This day and age is DuckTales ain't the same. This day and age is
Yeah,
Ninja Turtles ain't the same. I mean, I
yeah,
just, it's hard to watch,
it
but
is.
I get you. A couple other maybe fun questions before we wrap things up. Oh, I don't know. Maybe bucket list vacation spot, man. I mean, with not worrying about money or anything. What is one place you'd love an opportunity to visit one day?
Yeah, so it's crazy you say that, man. Because I was just telling myself like a couple weeks ago, like this is gonna be a year, or in the near future, it's gonna be I take a trip somewhere, just enjoy myself and relax, take a little break. And so I just been thinking about the places. So like, maybe Turks and Caicos, going to Africa, Guatemala, Egypt, just seeing something that's out the country. Just something that I could just have a good time experiencing. Clean waters, different foods, different cultures. I want to experience something. I don't want to live life like, dang, I never got to do this, never got to do that. So I just want to go out and just experience.
Gotcha. Have you ever thought about maybe perhaps what you would use football as a platform for? Like, is there maybe a charity or cause that really rings home for you that touches your heart that maybe one day that you would, I don't know, put some, give back a little bit or what?
Yeah, so one would be cancer because in my family, we've lost family members to cancer. My dad lost his mom to cancer, and then a couple of days we found out that our my great grandfather he had passed away from bone cancer, and so that's definitely a cause. I'll definitely put. I would like to like give back to charity, and find a way to beat it, like have to bring it into it. And another one I would say is would be autism because my daughter's cousin he has autism, and I just feel like there's not enough research done on kids who have autism. I just feel like there should be more time given into that. And I just want to see the world become a better place and bring more light to certain situations.
Cool. Well, definitely appreciate that one. Anything else before we wrap things up, man? Anything else that you got to say about yourself or what before we wrap up our
Uh
football stuff?
Man, I'm just hungry, man. I mean, I'm just here waiting for an opportunity, and I just want every team to know, like when the opportunity comes, Jalen White is gonna be ready to work. I'm gonna just come ready to work, head down, nose in the dirt, just ready to work, be the best player that I can be. Simple as that.
Gotcha. Well, great talking to you. Obviously, we're looking at a very prolific running back who's had a great career at Georgia Southern. Looking for his opportunity here very soon in the pros. So, Jalen, want to wish you all the best in your
Yes, sir. Thank you,
endeavors.
man. Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Sure. Again, I got with me Jalen White, running back, Georgia Southern. Check this dude out.